Russian President Vladimir Putin has launched a sharp series of accusations against Western nations, framing the ongoing conflict in Ukraine as a struggle against Western dominance. He stated that Western attempts to pressure Russia through what he called illegal one-sided sanctions have failed, and that Russia has coped with these restrictions to pursue a sovereign economic policy driven by national interest. Putin highlighted expanding economic partnership with China and India as evidence of Russia's resilience and strengthened direction despite external pressure. His comments set a defiant tone ahead of crucial diplomatic engagements, directly challenging the narrative of Western economic warfare. Tensions with Europe escalated significantly as Putin accused European government of deliberately sabotaging American-led peace efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Speaking in Moscow before a high-level meeting with a U.S. delegation, he claimed European leaders are on the side of war and inserted absolutely unacceptable demands into peace proposals to block the process and shift blame onto Russia. This pivotal moment comes as President Donald Trump pushes for a negotiated settlement, with Washington intensifying shuttle diplomacy. Putin insisted Russia has no plans to attack Europe, but issued a stark warning that Moscow is ready right away if Europe chooses confrontation, predicting any such war would be very brief. On the ground, security and military incidents signaled escalating tactics. Russia's Federal Security Service claimed it thwarted a Ukrainian plot to assassinate a senior Russian Defense Ministry officer in Crimea, killing one alleged agent and detaining an accomplice. The FSB stated Western-made explosives were seized and identified a Ukrainian military intelligence officer as the mastermind. Meanwhile, near Turkey's Black Sea coast, 2 tankers came under attack from Ukrainian naval drones. Turkey condemned the strikes on the vessels, identified as part of Russia's shadow fleet, as a worrying escalation within its exclusive economic zone. Putin responded by accusing Ukraine of outright piracy and outlined a potential 3-tier escalation in retaliation, including strikes on Ukrainian port facilities. The battlefield witnessed intense activity as Russia pressed its offensive. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukrainian forces had nearly cleared Kupiansk of Russian troops, but acknowledged heavy fighting elsewhere. Russian forces expanded territorial gains around the frontline town of Huliaipole, using pocket artillery to disperse surrender leaflets over Ukrainian positions in a psychological campaign. The most significant claim came from the Kremlin, which announced the full capture of the strategic city of Pokrovsk, known as Krasnoarmysk in Soviet-era naming. President Putin personally held this liberation, with Russian media releasing footage of troops raising the national flag in the city center. Ukrainian troops on the ground contested the claim, stating they still held positions in the northern part of the city, but independent mapping suggested substantial Russian advance in the area. Diplomatic movements intensified concurrently with a military push. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Senior Advisor Jared Kushner met with President Putin in the Kremlin for high-level discussions on the conflict. This meeting occurred as the United States revised a unilateral peace plan under pressure from Kiev and its European allies. In Brussels, NATO foreign minister expressed concern over these behind-the-scene U.S.-Russia talks, from which many allies felt excluded. Countries like Poland and the Baltic states fear the emerging plan could pressure Ukraine into dangerous concessions. President Zelensky, during a speech in Ireland, warned against any deal made without Ukraine and demanded clear security guarantees to prevent future invasion. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. Given the current battlefield momentum and the direct U.S.-Russia talks excluding some European allies, do you believe a ceasefire agreement forged now would lead to a lasting peace? Or would it simply be a pause that allows Russia to rearm for a future offensive? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate your support. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Like the video, share this video with friends and family, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.